Picture it. 19th century West Africa. There is an army charging into battle. But wait, this isn't just any army. They are the Dahomey Amazons, an all-female military regiment so fierce they made their enemies tremble. Yeah, you heard that right. An army of women warriors. And trust me, this story is wilder than anything Hollywood could dream up. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready to meet the real-life Amazons who inspired movies like The Woman King and Black Panther. First things first, who were these women? The Dahomey Amazons, also known as the Agoje, were an elite fighting force in the kingdom of Dahomey, located in what's now Benin. These women weren't just soldiers, they were the backbone of Dahomey's military. At their peak, they made up about a third of the entire army, with numbers ranging from 1,000 to 6,000 warriors. They were so skilled in combat that European observers called them Amazons, after the legendary warrior women of Greek mythology. But these women were very real and very deadly. Now you might be wondering, how did an all-female army come to be? Well, it's a mix of necessity, strategy, and sheer courage. See, Dahomey was constantly at war with neighboring kingdoms, and the male population was dwindling due to battles. And then the king realized that some of the best hunters in the kingdom were women. These women were out there taking down elephants, while most people would be running the other way. The king saw potential. If they could hunt, they could fight. And so what started as a group of royal bodyguards eventually became one of the most feared military units in history. How did people become part of the Dahomey Amazons? Well, some women joined voluntarily, seeking glory and a chance to escape traditional roles, while others were either handpicked as children for their strength or discipline. But once they joined, they were considered ahushi, or wives of the king. But don't let that fool you. They weren't there to cook or clean. They were there to fight, and fight they did. Alright, let's talk about that training. It wasn't just running laps and doing push-ups. These women trained hard. They ran barefoot through thorn bushes because, pain is temporary, but badassery, that's forever. They mastered weapons like spears, machetes, and even European rifles. They practiced decapitation techniques because in battle, they didn't just want to win, they wanted to send a message. And to make sure fear never controlled them, each warrior had to prove their courage by completing intense and sometimes deadly challenges. One of the most infamous was going into the jungle alone and returning with an enemy's head. Life as a Dahomey Amazon wasn't for the faint of heart. These women lived in the royal palace where they trained relentlessly and were forbidden from marrying or having children. They were married to the king in name only, but their loyalty was to the battlefield. But it wasn't all blood and sweat. The Amazons actually enjoyed a high status and privileges. They were wealthy, respected, and even had their own servants. When they walked through the town, a bell ringer would clear a path, and men were required to avert their eyes. Talk about commanding respect. They lived together in the royal palace, training day and night. They took an oath of loyalty, and any betrayal was dealt with. Let's just say you wouldn't live to regret it. And if a man so much as touched an Agoje warrior without permission, it was immediate execution with no exceptions. Even the kings respected them. Some Agoje warriors became top advisors and political leaders, shaping the entire kingdom. Now, let's talk about their battles. The Dahomey Amazons fought in countless wars, from battles with neighboring kingdoms to full-blown conflicts with the French colonial forces. One of their most famous battles was against the Egba people. There was also one against the Oyo Empire, which was a dominant force in the region at the time. But their most intense battle came during the Franco-Dahomean Wars. The French thought their fancy rifles and cannons would make them unstoppable. But the Agoje warriors, they had other plans. They would attack under the cover of darkness, cut through enemy lines, and even drag soldiers into the jungle, never to be seen again. Even when faced with superior firepower, they never backed down. But even the greatest warriors meet their match. In 1890, the French invaded Dahomey with advanced weapons, cannons, and a determination to take over. But the Agoje, they fought like absolute legends, refusing to surrender even when they were outnumbered. At the Battle of Adego in 1892, they made their final stand. Even captured, Agoje warriors refused to scream as they were executed. Their final act was defiance. Dahomey eventually fell, but the legend of the Agoje warriors never died, and that legend is still felt today. The Dahomey Amazons are celebrated as symbols of strength, resilience, and the power of women to defy expectation. And there you have it, the incredible story of the Dahomey Amazons, the real-life warrior women who defied expectations and made history. So what part of the story was your favorite? Do you think you would have what it takes to join their ranks? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating stories from history. Until next time.